Good morning, students. Welcome to the second year. So you have successfully completed your first year and you are entering into the second year. So today I am going to start with the subject Building Materials, Construction and Planning. This is a very important subject as a civil engineering point of view. So what you are going to study in this subject is that you are going to study stones, bricks, tiles, aluminium, gypsum and bitumen in the first unit. In the second unit, you will be studying about the masonry, wood, galvanized iron. In the third unit, you will be dealing with the mortar and concrete. In the fourth unit, you will be dealing with the building components, that is lintel, staircase, walls, floors, roofs and other things. And in the fifth unit, you will be dealing about the damp proofing and also the finishing part, that is the aesthetic part. So we are all very important and we are very cautious about our aesthetics, right? How we look, how my building looks, like that now. So what are the things that we have to use it? What are the materials that we use it for this aesthetic part? And also this paints, distempering, whitewashing, everything will come. And we also will see in the fifth unit aggregates. Aggregate plays a very important role in determining the strength of the, that is a component, structural component. So we are going to deal with this. Okay. So, what is the objective of your subject course is that to have the basic knowledge of the building materials. Which building materials I have to use it for which building, right? So, you will be building a small house or a multi-story house or a skyscrapers, or you can build a bridge or a dam or whatever it may be. But a pavement, a highway pavement, an airport, a runway, whatever it is there, every component have a different building. You want to go in for a different properties of the building. So in this subject you will be studying about the what is the basic property of the materials you have to know to select a building, right? Okay now. So these are the course objectives of the thing. You have 4 course objectives. So at the end of this subject you will be able to identify the materials for the particular this building, what we have to use, and also you will know about the what is a stone masonry, what is a brick masonry, and also you will know about the components of the building. What is a staircase, what is a wall, what is a roof, what is a floor, like the building components you will be able to know, and also you will be able to classify the aggregates, right? So we will be saying it is aggregate is just a stone, but there are so many things in the aggregates which you have to be careful about, right? So for example, I will be going to take a look at the need of the subject. Why you want to go in for studying of this subject. So here you can see I have just taken a man and I have been compared with that of a building, right? Okay. So starting from there. So you can see the foot of the man is to be compared with the footings. Footings are the foundation which takes all the load in it. So it should be strong. So the materials which we have to use it for the footing or the foundation should be very strong, right? Then it comes to the plinth beam. So the belt is the plinth beam. Belt means it holds the shirt and pant together. So this holds the superstructure and the substructure. Substructure is the structure that is below the ground surface, and we saw the superstructure. It is a structure that is above the ground surface, right? So that we are going to see here. So next we are going to see the toilet. Toilet is the where the waste materials we are going to the kidney. It is mainly deal with the toilet. Toilet is made up of different materials, right? Then you are comparing the mouth with the door, right? Whatever it is going into now, the building which is going in wherever whatever it has to go through, it has to go through the door, right? So that is a mouth. So for example, if I am going to take a door now, I can't go in for a selection of a concrete door, right? I can go in for a wooden door of different architectural view, or I can go for a fiber doors, right? So that and all we should know what is the material that I have to go in for a door. The next one is the nail. Nail is the cornice of the building. So the nail should be properly molded, otherwise it will be always a problem now. So the cornice of the building should be proper, the pointing, everything should be proper, and the nose we compare with the windows, right? Breathing. Right? So the air that is going in, the waste air that is coming out, everything. So proper ventilation is good for the health and also good for the building. And the concrete. steel and concrete. I will tell. The inside, the steel we call it as a bone. The outside it is covering the concrete. So both the things are necessary for the strength and also for the safeguard from the weathering effects, everything. The same thing with the building. And the next one, it is the skin, the plastering. You just imagine yourself without a skin. How it will look? Ugly, na? So the plastering is very important. How beautiful your building looks, it is based on the what is the type of plastering you are going in for, what is the type of paint, what is the type of distempering you are going in for, what is the coloring that you are choosing, everything is very important. Then the hair I am comparing with the weathering course, right? Weathering course, as the name goes, it protects it from the weather. Hair protects everything, what is falling on, not affecting our body. So that I am comparing, and the cap with the tiles. So the cap is for the beauty. Different color tiles, different types of tiles, marble tiles, granite tiles, Italian tiles, whatever it may be, that you can show it here. And the next one, it is the face and the dress. Right? Face I have compared with the elevation. Right? So the face is the main part, how it looks. Smile is the main thing. So that elevates the building. Right? The next one, it is the dress is the painting. The outward weathering course, after that the painting. What is the color that I am going to wear? So what is the color of my building? So this is a common thing that I want to tell you. The need of the subject is to choose a material what is necessary for which component. So this is the necessity of the subject. Now we will go in for the first unit. Right? So in the first unit I told you we are going to study about the stones, the properties of the stones, the classification of the stones and the dressing of the stones. And the bricks, we will study about the composition of the earth brickwork and what are the various methods of manufacturing of bricks, and the tiles, the characteristics of the good tiles and the manufacturing methods, the types of tiles, the aluminium, gypsum, glass and bituminous materials, properties. This is the orientation of the first unit. Now we will go in for the unit 1. The first topic is stones. Today I am going to deal with the stones and the classification of stones. Right? So you have seen different types of stones right here, right? So all the stones are not same. This is of different sizes are there. This is of different sizes. You can see different textures there. Pebbles we call, but it is of different sizes, and you can see different colors also. So the stones may not be of the same size, right? So the building also, when we are getting the stone from the Mother Earth, every material what we are taking from for the building components or for our eating, everything that comes from the Mother Earth. So Mother Earth, we have to be thankful. So the stones also comes from the Mother Earth, right? So what is the definition for a stone? So it is a naturally occurring compact, solid, massive material that makes the crust of the earth, right? It comes from the crust of the earth, right? Okay, mostly the stones we call it as the rocks, right? So then we I will give an introduction about the stone. So when you think of the stone, what will come into mind? For my mind, I will think about the marble building, the Taj Mahal, the world wonder, right? You can see here the Taj Mahal, right? It is made up of the stone building. Almost all the 7 wonders of the world are made up of the stones only, right? So here I have given, this is, I know you can see this is a Great Wall of China and this is the pyramid. These 3 things I have given example from the 7 wonders, and these 2 are the wonders of India, right? So here you can see this is made up of red color stones, we call it as a red fort. Here it is a Qutub Minar, it is 342 meters high, it is made up of stones. Even the outer walls are also made up of stones, right? You can see, imagine, in India, so many buildings, or historical buildings, everything is made up of stones, right? So now we'll go in for the classification of the stones, right? The basic first thing, how to classify the stones. So it is basically classified into 3 types. One is geological, physical and chemical. So we will be seeing one by one. In geological, it is again classified into igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. And physical, it is classified into stratified, unstratified and foliated. And in the chemical, it is based on the chemical substance in it. It is classified into siliceous, argillaceous and calcareous. Right? So now we will go in for this igneous rock in detail, right? Okay, so you may think that we have studied already in geography. That is not here. You have to find out what is the main thing and which is the example of the stones and where I can adopt for my buildings, right, for the construction purpose. That is the view of your thinking from here on, right? So here I am going in for the geological classification. I told you that is based on the formation of the rocks. This is classified as igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic, right? Again I am telling you, it is igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rock. Okay, so actually where the igneous rocks are formed? Igneous rocks are from the natural process of cooling or crystallization of the molten materials called magma, right? So here you can see, right? So this is the magma, that is the thing that is coming from the, so here you can see the magma, that is the center part of the, that is crust of the earth, right? This is very hot, high temperature. So due to the high temperature and high pressure, it has a thing to move out, right? You can see here. So one is moving here and one will be moving down. So here when it is moving, it goes into a crystallization process and it solidizes itself. So that is called as the crystallization and it forms an intrusive igneous rocks. So igneous rocks are of two types. One is intrusive rock and another is extrusive rock. Extrusive rock is mainly due to the volcanic action, right? Due to the cold pressure, it moves out and it comes out blasting out, right? So that is the extrusive rocks. So this is the intrusive rocks. These are the two types of igneous rocks. But here I will also touch upon the sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks because after the igneous rocks form, it will go for the sedimentary rocks. That's due to the formation of sediments, which will be again for the secondary actions, it will form the metamorphic rock. The metamorphic rock will again enter into the formation of magma. So this is a cycle, right? This is a cycle, right? So here you can see the earth crust magma when it is blasting out. When it is included in the crystallization process, it is called intrusive igneous rocks. And it is the going out, it is called as the extrusive igneous rocks. Some of the examples we can see is the basalt, granite, pumice stones, everything that is the so here you can see, I have shown you a candle, right? The same thing is the formation of the igneous rocks. The candle, it burns, right? And it melts down and it comes to the bottom. And in the bottom, it forms the thing. Then it is the another thing of the igneous rocks. You can see that it is getting out, the volcanic reaction, it is moving out. And when what is the salt that is moving out, we call it as the extrusive and this is the intrusive one, right? So now we will see the next one. We will see about the extrusive rock, that is the volcanic reaction, and the intrusive rock, it is a plutonic rocks. It is because of the crystallization action, right? So the next one we see about the difference between the intrusive rocks and extrusive rocks. The magma cools beneath the earth's surface, but the lava that is coming out of the volcanic cools outside the earth's surface. And here the intrusive rock, it cools very slowly, but the extrusive rock, it cools very fast, right? So one example of the intrusive rocks will be granite. Granite is a very strong building materials that we will be using in the building purpose for aggregates and other buildings we are using. And basalt. Basalt is also very strong materials, right? But the method of formation is differs, right? Next we will go in for the sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary, right? Sediment. What is sediment, right? It is the one after another particles, it will be sedimented. For example, I will tell you about the sedimentary rocks. I will show you a video to tell you the sedimentary rocks. Here you can see this. Sedimentary rocks means materials that settles the bottom of the liquid. Similarly, I will tell you I will show you here. You can see a tumbler that you can see, right? The tumbler, you can put a sediment, some stones, it will go and settle in the bottom. So this is an example of the sedimentary rocks. Once what happens, this one by one, if it settles down on the seabed by the weathering action. The weathering action may be rain, it may be a wind, or it may be any other weathering action with the rocks that is broken down. Everything will come and settle in the bed. It may be a seabed, it may be a river bed, or whatever the bed. But after that, it will undergo a compression. One by one, falling one by one, one by one, one by one, it will be compressed and it forms the sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks doesn't form in one day. Whatever the rocks, it takes millions of years to form the sedimentary rocks. Here you can say, so the sedimentary rocks may be of layer by layer, right? It is not a single layer, one by one, sedimentary one by one. It may be of same one. So the main example you can check is a limestone and the chalk, right? That is the main thing that you can see. The limestone and the chalk, which we can have, that is layer by layer. We call it as the sedimentary rock. Okay. Now we will go in for the next one. We will see about the metamorphic rock. It is of three types. As we told, igneous rocks is of two types, intrusive and extrusive. Sedimentary rocks is of three types. One is clastic rocks. You can see that this is the two types of clastic rocks. This is one type of that is the layer by layer limestone layers. Sandstones are coming under this clastic rocks. The next one, it is the chemically formed rocks. Gypsum, limestone, all these things comes under this rocks, right? Because it is the seawater, the salts, everything that is formed layer after layer, right? So it is mainly due to the erosion of the one layer after another layer, this rock formed. So we call this as the chemically formed sedimentary rocks. The third one, which is the organic sedimentary rocks. You can see some dead animals, trees, leaves, everything made up of organic matters come and settle in the, that is the side of the bed of the sea or river. It is the organic formed sedimentary rocks. Mostly the bones of the dead animals, the leaves, as I told you now. So this is the one. Mostly the Himalaya regions, they have this organic type of rocks. Okay, sedimentary rocks. Now we will go in for the metamorphic rocks. So this is a third type, right? So what happens now? Sedimentary rocks are sedimentation that is happening. After it sediments one by one, it undergoes a heat and pressure, right? So sedimented, it will go down and down and down to the crust area. It undergoes a heavy pressure and heat from the magmas. So that transforms and it forms the metamorphic rock. So the newly formed rock due to the heat and the pressure of the sedimentary rocks, we call it as the metamorphic rock, right? You can see here, it is a pressure and the same time heat from the crust. It is the form of the metamorphic rock, right? Okay. So the next one, we will see the types of the metamorphic rock. So mainly the marble, shale, gneiss, everything comes under the metamorphic rock. So it is of not so strong as the igneous rocks, that also not so weak as the sedimentary rocks, right? So it is this shale, marbles are mainly used for the flooring, beautification process, other things. This type of metamorphic rock is used, right? So actually you can see some examples of this metamorphic rock. This is the marble, gneiss, slate, right? Everything you can see here, right? Marble is there, gneiss is there, slate is there, schist is there. These are the, and this is form a very good building stones apart from granite, right? So these are the metamorphic rocks. And now we will go in for the some examples, right, of the three types of rocks. Sedimentary rocks, sandstone, limestone, and I have given what are the colors they will have available in the market and what is the properties, and it is a crystalline. As I told you, sedimentary rocks, due to the sediment formation, due to the weathering action, this rocks forms. And this is the igneous rocks. It is the hard molten lava due to the intrusive process or the extrusive process. This is a granite, grandiorite and gabbro. Mostly we use it granite, right? And the third one, it is a metamorphic rock. Mostly we use marble and gneiss. So this is the first classification. So what is the first classification? It is geological classification. So in geological classification, what is there? One is igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. So we saw what are the formation of the igneous rocks, how sedimentary rocks are formed, how metamorphic rocks are formed, and we found what are the difference, are the examples of these types of rocks. So we will go in for the second classification. So what is the second classification? Second classification is the structural classification. So the structural classification, there is three types of classification. One is massive or unstratified rocks. The second one, it is stratified rocks. The third one, it is the foliated rocks. So what is the unstratified rocks? So the rocks that occur in huge masses without showing any layered structures in them. So without showing any layered surface is igneous rocks. The first formed rocks, mostly the igneous rocks and the sedimentary rocks in some cases may be seen. Granite and quartzite often occurs in classification. The stratified rocks are the different layers are also called beds and it is separated by plains. Right? I don't know how many of you have in the small age you have taken the layered stones and you have played with it, right? It will be in different layers. You can see. Even now you can go and take a limestone. It will be available in the building sites. You can take it. You can say limestone. You can break it. It will be layered by layer, right? So that is coming under the stratified rocks. And foliated rocks. You can see the difference between the foliated and the unfoliated rocks. So this is the foliated rocks. This is the unfoliated rocks, right? So what is foliated? Folds, right? It folding by one layer by another layer. Non-foliated will not have any folds in it. So okay now. So then next we will be seeing about the that is the difference between the physical rocks, that is stratified rocks, unstratified rocks and the foliation rocks. Right? Next we will see about the chemical classification. The chemical classification, as I told you, based on the chemical substance available in the rock, it is classified into three types. One is silicious rocks, calcareous rocks and argillaceous rock. So now you know what is silicious rock. Silica content is more, right? In which if you think about which particle silica content is more, immediately you should be able to say sand is having more silica. Sand, a very good quality of sand. Soil is having a very good silica content, right? So this is this silica which is more than 50%, around 70 to 80% will be available in this rock, right? So the granite, sandstone, these which are mostly used for the construction purpose, it is will be having some silica content. As I told you, good build an example which is having around 80 to 90% of the silica, right? The next one, it is the calcareous rocks. Calcareous, calcium, calcareous, it is calcium. So in this type of rocks, calcium will be available in the 60 to 70 types. So it is mostly the sedimentary and the metamorphic rocks are made of this one. And because as I told you, in the organic formation, the bones of the dead animals will come, that is having calcium, right? So the erosion part, weathering action due to wind and rain, some calcium materials are brought in and it will be formation of the rock. It will be of calcareous rock. The next one is the argillaceous rock. Argillaceous is nothing but clay. Argillaceous, clay, right? So these argillaceous rocks are mostly of hydroalumina silicates of potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, right? So this is having very good clay content. So this type of rocks will be easily broken into pieces. It cannot be used mostly for the actual building purpose for the strength, right? So this is the chemical composition. Again, I am coming back to the thing what we saw today in the class. Today we saw about we are going to study what is the need of this subject, and we also studied what is the classification of rocks, right? So as I told you, the magma, the crust that is formed, that is the main thing for the formation of the rocks. This is the magma. That is the main thing for the formation of rock, which forms the igneous rocks. Igneous rocks of two types. One is intrusive rocks. The next one is extrusive rocks. In intrusive rocks, it is formed due to the crystallization, and it is mainly the granite. One example you can need is granite, and the extrusive rock, one example you can take it as basalt, right? Okay. So, due to the weathering condition of this metamorphic rock, or all the weathering condition of this rock, you can see this blue lines, right? It forms due to the weathering, and the weathering action, it is transported, erosion, deposited as a sediments in the bed of the sea and river, right? So, where we forms the sedimentary rocks. So, it sediments one by another, it forms the sedimentary rocks, and this sedimentary rocks and also the igneous rocks undergo a metamorphism process due to the high heat and pressure. It is the heat is coming from here, the huge pressure is coming from here. This metamorphism process, it forms the metamorphic rocks. So, for example of sedimentary rocks, sediments I told you sandstones and limestones. Metamorphic rock you can easily remember marbles. Taj Mahal you remember. So, metamorphic rock you can remember marble gneiss. So, today we have seen the igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. The example, the formation of these rocks, and what are the example of these rocks. These are all will be formed today. Okay. Thank you. Let us meet in the next class.